morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and welcome to yet another interesting webinar from the Global ESCO Network. We are broadcasting to you from Denmark, but today our speaker, Mr. Mehdi Benjelloun, the Executive Director of the Attijariwafa Bank, sorry for that, in Morocco, will be our presenter, presenting the African Energy Efficiency Fund, which is facilitating energy efficiency investments through ESCOs. Africa is the latest addition to the group of countries and continents that are experiencing and experimenting the ESCO, and particularly in this regard, the SuperESCO concept. In Africa, the African Development Bank has been promoting the SuperESCO concept, which will be known to some of you. But that is mainly driven by the public sector. What we are listening to today, the presentation today, is in fact focusing on a private sector initiative, so private SuperESCO models. We've seen a few of those other places, for instance, in the Philippines or in Canada. Belgium also has experimented with a private model. Morocco is the latest in the group of a small exclusive group of countries that are experimenting with private SuperESCOs. Before we move on to the presentation, if you would allow me just a couple of words of introduction to the Global ESCO Network. I'm sure many of you have already heard it, so I'll be very, very brief. The Global ESCO Network is a network of networks, so to say. It's organizing national and regional ESCO associations for promoting their efforts in increasing activities by the ESCO industry at a global scale. We're working for the integrated use of the ESCO industry as an implementing partner for energy efficiency, particularly motivated by climate change. Our main mission is to promote the development of policy and regulatory conditions for ESCOs to thrive, as we believe that ESCOs are the most efficient implementation mechanisms for energy efficiency investment. In a few months from now, we will be having our second international ESCO symposium. It will be 7th and 8th of May in this year in Turkey. We're organizing it together with IODER, the Turkish ESCO associations, where the global ESCO community is gathering. We believe it will be the most important gathering for ESCOs. We are aiming at that to become as a standard and a tradition that we are hosting this International ESCO Symposium. So far, we are believing that we will be gathering at least 200 ESCO professionals and stakeholders. We will also have a business-to-business section. So I welcome you all to visit the website of the ESCO Symposium, register your participation. So we look much forward to welcoming you and seeing you in Istanbul. A few words on housekeeping for the webinar. We have the chat box open for questions. I encourage you to put your questions in the chat box. We will have a Q&A session after Mr. Benjelloun's presentation. So just leave your questions there, and we will present the questions after the presentation. That's all for now. Thank you very much, Mr. Benjelloun, for joining us today. We are looking much forward to your presentation.
Thank you very much, Søren, for this presentation. As Søren said, I'm Mehdi Benjelloun. I'm Executive Director of Attijari Capital Management, the managing company of the fund. If you allow me, I will have a quick presentation, about the fund, and I will be happy to answer all your questions. I believe that my screen now is full on your screen also. So the Fonds africain d'efficacité énergétique in French, it's an initiative between Attijariwafa Bank, which is the biggest bank in Morocco and one of the biggest in Africa, in partnership with Econoler. So our objective, as you will see in the presentation, we are structured as a SuperESCO, and we are willing to work with customers, industrial and tertiary customers wishing to optimize their energy consumption within the framework of a diversified technology mix. We can work on all energy efficiency projects and also in renewable energy in some biomass or photovoltaic project on site. So first presentation of the sponsor. Attijariwafa Bank is a leading financial and banking group in North Africa and globally. In Africa, more than 4,000 branches today, more than 20,000 employees, and I believe that today the balance sheet is more than $50 billion. We are the initiative of this SuperESCO, the African Energy Efficiency Fund, is an initiative between Attijariwafa Bank and Econoler. I believe that everyone here knows Econoler, which is a world leader in energy efficiency consulting, rank 1 experts for international institutions, and Econoler has worked in such in the ESCO and SuperESCO scheme for more than 40 years. So our offer is a SuperESCO offer. No investment is required from our clients. It's a turnkey project from the identification to the implementation. No technical or financial risk for our customers, and a contractual agreement that can go up to 15 years. And the most important is that the investment is reimbursed only through a portion of the savings. How it works, and I think this is our business model. We are the management company of the Fonds africain d'efficacité énergétique. We are Attijari Capital Management, and we are managing this fund with Econoler. For each project, actually, just I think it is important to say that in less than 2 years, I have started with the fund less than 2 years. We have reached the financial close in September 2024. We have all the shareholders in place in the fund. We are finalizing all the standard performance contract with our customers and with the ESCOs, and we have done that with Econoler. And what is important to say is that putting in place a SuperESCO, a private SuperESCO in Morocco, was a real challenge. The real challenge to find the shareholders of the fund, a real challenge to navigate through the legal framework, which is not done for SuperESCOs, to navigate through the fiscal, to the tax and accounting system, which is not suitable for SuperESCOs. So it was really a big issue, a big challenge also to find ESCOs, interesting ESCOs that can work with us in the risk allocation. So we believe that what has been done in less than 2 years, it's a very important step, and was a really good challenge. I'm sure that you are all facing in your countries such challenge. So to come back in for the Fonds africain d'efficacité énergétique, we go to see our customer, and what we propose to them is to identify the project, to make them installed, and to be reimbursed only from the savings of energy. Generally, what we can see in Morocco in practice is that all our customers have more need of capex than budget available. So, in theory, they are all happy to see us come in to work for them, because usually they have a lot of projects much more interesting financially than energy efficiency projects. They have a lot of projects with a payback of 1 or 2 years, and they prefer to do these projects. They have also a lot of strategic projects in their core business, and they prefer to do this project to do energy efficiency project. So when we come, in theory, it is very interesting for them to have us proposing to identify a turnkey project with financing and the reimbursement only from the sharing of savings. Uh, in the other side, this risk allocation, we are taking financial risk with clients. That's the risk that to be repaid by our customers, but we are giving the technical risk to ESCOs. Today, as I said, it was a real challenge also to find 2 or 3 ESCOs in Morocco that are able to work with us and share all the risk, because we are a super ESCO. All the technical risk must go with the ESCOs. Today, we believe, with a lot of work, we believe that we have an interesting ecosystem that is willing to have to work with us in energy efficiency project. So, the barriers we remove for classical barriers for super ESCOs is that we use the shared savings model, and its benefits to the customer from the first day without zero investment. We share the savings with him. Actually, one very interesting barrier is time, because when we come to see a client, we can do all energy efficiency project on one shot. And what we see when the client tries to do the project himself, it takes a lot of years. People are not available to put in place a tender or a bidding process to recruit a technical partner. Our customers does not have the financial resources to do the project. It takes them a lot of time because they are not specialists of energy. So project that we can do on 1 year, it takes sometimes 7 or 8 years to be all done by our customers. The FAEE work of a third party to measure and verify the savings. The FAEE offers technical expertise with a very low client involvement, so they can focus on the core business. The technical risk is assumed by the technical partner, which is the ESCO, and the most interesting is that we offer 100% non-recourse financing on this project. As you can see here, before the contract, there is an energy cost. During the contract, we have our payments, the SPV payment, which is a subsidiary of the Fonds Africain d'Efficacité Énergétique. A part of the savings going to the client without any investment from day one. And after the contract, we leave all the savings to our clients. So all that is based on a very interesting, I would say, risk allocation, because we are financial institution. We are here to invest in the medium long term, and we have the tools to take the financial risk. The ESCOs are technically capable of doing the project and to give us the guarantee on the savings to be done. And the last, the clients are focused in their core business, and we allow them to do projects that they will not do themselves, or if they will do it in 10 years, and they will lose a lot of savings during this 10 years. That's the magic of this project. So type of eligible project, we can work on lighting, heating, ventilation, building automation system, water treatment, self-generation of electricity. We can put in place also photovoltaic, uh, or biomass, electric motors, pump and processes, heat recovery. We can work on all what is linked to energy efficiency. Regarding our investment, we are investing in the beginning, and the cash flow on the SPV is it's quite stable on the time. Here, just about the fund, we are aiming to have at least 60 million dollar in the fund. And it's a fund agreed by the IMMC, which is the financial authority in Morocco. The first closing has been reached successfully in September 2024 with the first 20 million. What is important to say here is that it's this $20 million. It's just, I would say, for the proof of concept. We have no issue to raise more money in the fund. The most important is to do the first project and to have this proof of concept. Today, as I said before, we have faced a lot of challenges because it's a really having a SuperESCO in Morocco. It's really new because the regulatory framework is not done to have SuperESCOs in Morocco. We had a lot of discussion with the Ministry of Energy here about that, because the regulatory framework is done for ESCOs that will finance the project, but less for SuperESCOs to sign performance contract. Tax and accounting framework, for sure, we find a way to navigate through it, but there is some lobbying to be done to have something that will encourage the SuperESCO system. The ecosystem of ESCOs, because before the FAEE, the for African Defense Energetic, is the first private SuperESCO in Morocco, and I would say in the scheme we know SuperESCO is the first SuperESCO in Morocco. So there is no ESCO, because all the ESCOs we are working with today, they are not. It's not in their DNA to finance projects. So the main technical partners we identify today, where they are working on AC, they are working on photovoltaic, they are specialized on one of type of the works to be done. But now with FAE, we have succeeded to have at least 2 or 3 ESCOs that can do multidisciplinary work in energy, and that can be with us in the risk allocation. They can guarantee all the energy savings for the time of the contract, which is very, very, very important. And if I had to say, I would say that it was the biggest challenge in the middle of all the challenges we have faced. Clients also, even if the proposal we have is very, very interesting, it's always difficult to have the first reference, I would say. Because when we see the client, they see the first or second meeting, they are always, oh wow, we are very happy to have you. You can do this project. We know that we will not do this project this year or in the 5 coming years. So please feel free to do it. But once we start discussing contract, we have to discuss with the purchasing department, financial department, the technical department, and we always find someone with other ideas. So I would say today we are working, I think, around 15 different projects. We hope that we will have our first project signed in this first semester, but we believe, and a return of experience from other countries, that once we have the first projects in place, it will be easier to have the other projects. So if I can give a summary, in a new country like Morocco, put in place a SuperESCO is a very interesting and difficult challenge. We believe that we have succeeded uh, in a good team framework for that, and we have a lot of challenges to come also. So I tried to be brief. So please, if you have any question, I will be happy to answer it, to explain the model or any other question.
Many thanks, Mehdi. That was very interesting, and I can also see a very challenging task that you have put yourself to establish the African Energy Efficiency Fund. We have a few questions from the audience, and maybe one which I was also wondering, in fact, because you mentioned the contract structure between the fund and the ESCO, but how does that then link to the contract between the fund and the client? When you must have two different contracts, and somehow they should be linked to each other, because you are taking over the responsibility somehow for the delivery. So how exactly does that work?
Actually, we have two performance contracts for our clients. To be efficient with them, they have only one person in front of them, is the fund. So the contract signed with the client is a performance. It's a performance. It's an energy performance contract signed to share the savings. So in this contract, we take the commitment to identify the project, to put them in place, and if there is any savings, we share it with them. In the other hand, we sign, as the fund, we sign a contract with the ESCO. It's another energy performance contract, but this time it's an energy performance contract with energy guarantee. So we are paying the ESCO. Once all the works are done, the ESCO is fully paid. So after that, what they have to guarantee this. So as a financial institution, if the savings are here, the client is paying is sharing with us the savings. If the savings are not here for a technical issue, it's the ESCO who is paying the savings. So all the technical guarantee is with the ESCO. That's why we have two contracts.
Okay. Good. Can I ask, linked to those contracts, when you were discussing, you mentioning before that there's always someone who comes up with a question that when you have all these discussions with different departments, and so it's difficult to get to the final contract. We see in other markets that there markets which are maybe a bit more used to ESCOs, that there is a very clear expectation on how long a contract should be. What's the contract duration? And many times we hear 5 years, no more. You said you were doing contracts up to 15 years. When that's your offer, but are there any takers for that offer?
No, actually, we are quite flexible. We are quite flexible. We can sign a 5 years contract. We can sign a 15 years contract. What we say to our customer, it's up to them. If they want to give us 100% of the savings, we will go away very quickly. If they want to share the savings 50-50, well, we will stay for a long time. So we are quite flexible for that, and I would say that the time is not an issue for this contract. What we see in Morocco, that the main issue to put in place these contracts, it's the technical managers, because usually we come to put in place new implementation, new way to do energy, and it's quite destabilizing for them. So that's that's one of the main things to be managed. It's the technical manager. They are not always happy to see us come in, improve what they are managing.
Right. We have a question in a bit different with different focus. I mean, who are the main investors in the fund? I'm not sure you mentioned that, did you?
Banks, insurances. Actually, we have institutional investors in the fund. We have, I think, two big insurances. Attijariwafa Bank, but in a small part, and another bank. So a lot of institutions that give us their trust to manage the fund and to do that. We spent around 1 year going to see the customers, saying that we have a very good idea, that we can share with them all the savings, to go and see ESCOs, to tell them that there is a market and we want them to be in our risk allocation, and going back to the shareholders and telling them that we have customers and ESCOs to work with us. So we spend more 1 year to have all the ecosystem, shareholders, ESCOs, and the customers.
And they're all equity investors. They're investing on the same basis.
Yes, they are all equity investors. Yes.
Is it difficult to sell the idea to investors?
To sell
the
investors?
idea to investors.
Actually, it was not the most difficult, because today all investors, and I think around the world, are very interested with such investments, to invest in energy efficiency. And I would say that with Econoler, we had a very good base, very good arguments for our investors, and there is a market in Morocco for sure. And it takes time, but it's not the most challenging. It was most challenging to have the ESCOs on board. And now that we have the investors and ESCOs, we need to sign our first contracts.
Right. And I guess maybe in the light of that, it would be premature to ask how would you think it looks in other countries in Africa? There's a question here, and this is a good project in Morocco. Could it be expanded?
Yes, actually, our fund is the African Fund of Energy Efficiency. We are starting in Morocco, but our objective is to go to other countries, other African countries, in the next year. We are thinking about Senegal, Ivory Coast, Tunisia, maybe Egypt. But we have started looking to these countries. They have a lot of challenges too, but we believe that we will go to these countries in the next years.
Okay, so you already have expansion plans.
Yes, that was from the start.
Yeah. You mentioned very briefly that you're looking at renewables as well as energy efficiency. Is this a combination in one contract, or do you do both as separate activities?
No, we are doing that in the same contract. We propose some energy efficiency. Our objective first is to lower the consumption of energy. in our customer facilities, and also to decarbonize their activity by putting in place photovoltaic. The sun is very good in Morocco, and we have a very interesting production from the photovoltaic panels. So in our offer, we have always an energy efficiency part and a renewable energy that come naturally with this proposal.
So that would be captive, sort of captive production. If you set up a combined project, would be captive solar, or maybe even wind. But I guess solar is more.
No, it's just solar. It's just
solar.
We are proposing just solar. It's the most interesting, and all our customers have a roof when we can put solar panels. And as I said, in Morocco, we have a very good production with solar panels because the weather is really good.
There's a question here regarding the tariff that you are charging, but I guess you are not. Well, how would that work if you are also generating? The tariff you're charging for the power generation, is that different from what the company is already paying to the grid?
Yeah, actually, what we say to our customer is that you are paying an amount to the grid. Once we put in place solar panel, this amount will be reduced because they will be using the solar panel, and we share this saving. It's based on
directly the tariff is in fact the same as the grid tariff because it's the one you save.
Yes, we will lower the tariff because we will share, so they will have 10% discounts for 10 years, for example, and after they will generate electricity for free because at the end of the contract there is nothing to be shared.
Here's an interesting question regarding the relation to SAEE in Morocco. I'm not sure everybody knows what SAEE is, but the planning to establish a SuperESCO, do you consider them as partner or competitor?
No, actually, we are in touch with the SAEE. They are working. What I understood is that they are working much more in the public sector, not in the private sector. And I don't know if they have if they are financing a project or working as an assistant of their clients. But for sure, we are not on the same markets because we are financing projects in the private sector. What is interesting to be said, it's public funds destinated to private funds destinated to private sector. We are also open to work with public sector, but for the beginning, now we have project in private sector.
So you see a differentiation in the market that SAEE is more for the public sector, and you would be focusing on the private sector. Is that how it would be going?
We are not close to public sector, but for now we are focusing on private sector.
Okay. Here's a question, and going back to your expansion plans. Would you have any interest in developing projects in Nigeria?
For now, no. We will actually we will take I think around 12 months to do our first projects in Morocco, and after that we will decide which country we will target. For sure, we have started to look at countries that we know very well, but we are not close to any country.
A question here regarding the procurement process, and how does it actually work? And do you first sign a financing contract with the energy user, and later the energy user procures the ESCO company, or how do you channel the financing? I'm not really sure how this. I think you have already, but if you could address the question like I posted here?
If I understand, the question is regarding the procurement process for the ESCO. How we are managing to have the ESCO in place. Actually, for now in Morocco, we don't have a lot of ESCOs. And when we try to have an ESCO on board, we are working. There is a scheme where the ESCO is coming with a project. When the ESCO is coming to see us with the clients and with the project, the ESCO will work on this project for sure, on an open book way, but they will work on this project. If we have a customer that's willing to work with a certain ESCO that go in our risk allocation, we can work in the ESCO. And there is a third place when our customer does not have any preference for an ESCO, and for us neither. What we do is that we present the ESCOs to the customer, and we are selecting them on their references, not on a price. Because once the ESCO is on board, what we ask them to do is to find the biggest projects. They are not here just to change the lighting. They are here to change the lighting, to identify any energy efficiency project that can go in our contract with 8 years contract and a sharing of 80/20. So there is we are selecting when there is a tender or a procurement process. It is done in the references on the ESCO, because what we are willing is to have the ESCO finding the biggest project that can be repaid by the energy saving.
So it's like a systems approach, but then that would also influence the length, the duration of the contract. So would you then say up to 15 years, but your preference would be to do a 15-year contract with as many measures included as possible?
Yes, the objective is to have the maximum measure. So what we tell our customers also is that we can mix we can mix measures with a very interesting payback, 1 or 2 years, with measures with a 10 years payback, and do a contract of 8 years, for example. That
Yeah.
allow them to do very interesting project that will never be done because of their payback, very long payback.
Right. Another question here is how do you calculate the energy consumption baseline and then the amount of savings that can be reached by the project? What are the main elements to be considered in this calculation?
I would say it depends on the activity of the client. So the baseline usually is fixed with the baseline, and consumption is based with the clients. For example, we were working on a mine, and in this mine they have very different years. In a year they can have a consumption more than the other years, and finally it's we are doing that to the clients, because the risk, the business risk, is taken by the client. If we choose a baseline and the year after they have less activities, it's their call, because the business the work business is a risk taken by our clients, not by us.
And how do you calculate that? You set up a baseline saying this is the electricity consumption year one or year zero,
Yes.
and how do you then benchmark the activity of the company? Now if the activity of the company goes down by 20%, and of course the energy consumption also goes down by 20, but then it goes down by another 10% because you have installed energy efficiency equipment. How do you split that between you?
No, actually, it depends on the activity of the company, and it depends also all of the measures to be put in place. For example, we were working in replacing a compressor by another compressor that is consuming less. So here, clearly, we can have a discussion with the client. They tell us we can measure the consumption of the existing compressor today, and tomorrow we install another compressor, and at full regime we can measure also the consumption, and we will do the measurements this way. If the client choose to not use the compressor for 5 or 6 years, it's their call. But the savings will be calculated because the baseline has been done for 300 days a year and not 290. So it's really a case by case.
I have one question regarding the interaction with the public authorities. And you mentioned that there's no regulations, there's no rules for ESCOs. So
I didn't say that.
you didn't say
What I
that.
say, what I said is there is a law on energy efficiency, and in this law, energetic audit is mandatory for when the consumption is above a certain degree. But the law is because the law dated from I think 15 years that the energy performance contract is signed only between ESCOs uh, and clients. ESCOs are the company that has capabilities of doing audit, of doing works and everything. And the framework globally is not done for super ESCOs. For them, there is an ESCO that can finance and share the savings. There is an ESCO that can do the works and guarantee the savings, but there is no super ESCO that can sign with client sharing of savings that can sign with another ESCO. That's why for us the framework is not adapted to our framework today, because today to have bankable projects we have to be innovative, and the scheme we are proposing is innovative. So we had a lot of discussion with them to tell them that today we have energy efficiency projects. Clients are not willing to do that, but because it's not their priorities. ESCOs are not willing to finance them because it's not their DNI, and they need a fund like us to do it. And to do it, we need a interesting legal framework. So
So
there
the
is a legal
demands.
framework.
Go ahead.
So there is a legal framework, but for us it's a little outdated.
Okay, so but I think the question here is with your interaction with the authorities in explaining this shortcoming of the regulatory framework for your particular purpose. How was that received? I mean, was there understanding by the regulator, the ministries, that this is something that we need to solve, or is something that you've had to navigate around?
No, actually, we find together a way to find a solution. I think in Morocco we have a very committed authority to improve all the framework for renewable energy and for energy efficiency. So we had a very interesting discussion, and we are finding together the right way to do it.
Okay, so a positive attitude from the authorities to make this
Positive,
work.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, clearly positive attitude. Yes.
What type of industries in Morocco would be the most interested in the fund solution?
Actually, we are working with all industries. We are working with the mining industry. We are working with automotive industry. We have a lot of automotive industry. We are working also on the distribution. So there is no restriction. We are choosing our clients based on their consumption, because I think in Morocco in the last 10 or 15 years nothing has been done in energy efficiency. When we go somewhere to visit a customer with a big energy consumption, we always find a project. So I think the most interesting clients today are the clients that are exporting, because there is the tax carbon that is put in place for Europe, and so it's for us it's they are the main interesting clients because they want to do something very quickly.
Very well. Coming back to your the charting or the baseline, how to calculate the distribution of savings. the question here is: are the savings measured after project implementation? I mean, before and after, and is there an M&V strategy that is developed by a third party to ensure that client payments are based on the actual savings?
Actually, the MNV plan is done by our partners Econoler, based on IP-MVP, the protocol IP-MVP. But the validation and the verification of this MNV plan is done by a third party to be sure that this party is neutral. It's not the ESCO, it's not the fund, it's not the client. It's a third party that verifies the savings based on the MNV plan.
Okay, and I should mention that the IP-MVP is sort of a voluntary sector initiative which is hosted by EVO, the Efficiency Evaluation Organization, which is also partnering with us in the Global ESCO network. We've had a few presentations on IP-MVP here also as webinars. You can find our old webinars on our website if you want to dive further into the IP-MVP. So to follow up, who will be doing the annual verification of energy savings against the baseline? I guess that will be then the third party.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Confirm.
Very well. And your scheme is to finance 100% of the investment in a project in the private sector and not to tender among international or local ESCOs. That was a question here also.
Actually, for now, we are financing the whole project. And if there is an ESCO, it's in EPC scheme, so they will be doing the project, but not financing it. But right. Our scheme is that we are flexible. We can be flexible. If an ESCO wants to have shares with us in the project company, it can be discussed. One of the most interesting things in our scheme is that we are flexible. For the most important for us is to have the project done.
Okay, so you could, as an ESCO, propose a project where they participate.
Yes.
With financing, and you would be topping up with the remaining finance.
Exactly.
Okay.
Our statutes allow us even to be a minority shareholder. If there is a ESCO having a project and wants us to be minority shareholder with them, we can do that.
Interesting. What is the minimum project size required? And what is savings sharing ratio? I think you mentioned 80-20, but that could also be flexible.
For the sharing, it's flexible. It can be 50-50, it can be 100%. We are flexible between that. And sorry, the first question, maybe
the minimum project size. Do you have a minimum?
Yes. I think for our scheme, it is very important to have a minimum because there is a energy performance contract to be signed, savings to be followed, and everything, and it has a cost. And to be interesting, we should have a minimum. We are targeting at least €1 million per project.
And is that a common size? Or do you oftentimes meet clients with much smaller projects?
Yeah, sometimes we can find projects with a less important size. In this case, we discuss if it is interesting for us and for the client to do it or not. It depends on the size.
I am running out of questions on the list here, but we have really had a very lively discussion and a very active audience here, much more than usual. So thank you very much to all of you out there. It has been most interesting to have this dialogue with you and Mr. Benjelloun here. And it's interesting to follow. It will be interesting to follow the experience now of the fund and how it gets off the ground now that it's all established. And you're looking for signing the first contracts with clients. I will give you out there a last chance to drop a question. Otherwise, I will thank you very much, Mehdi, for your presentation.
Thank you. Thank you for your question and for the moderation, and hope to see you soon in Istanbul or other place.
Yeah, exactly. That would be my last message here. Just reiterating that we really hope to see all of you in Istanbul on the 7th, 8th of May. Go into our website or even the dedicated website, the escosymposium2025.com, where you can register yourself for joining us in Istanbul. So with that, Mehdi, I thank you very much for your presentation, and
thank you
again to the audience for your active participation. It's been a very interesting session. So over and out from here, from Denmark and from Morocco. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.